In just 18 months, IM8 did 188 million in revenue. A subscription-first supplement brand scaling this fast got my attention. They claim 81% repeat revenue in their quarterly report. In this video, I will live audit their subscription program with our subscription LTV scorecard framework. We will see what they are doing right and what they are doing wrong, and what you can learn from a $100 million subscription brand and apply to your business. They scored 64 out of 80. Three things which stood out. First, their offer engineering. They package their subscription and offer more tightly than most brands, which drives a very high OAV. Not many options are available, not many distractions. Pricing is also not very offer heavy. Second, their gifting. They lean heavily on monthly gifts to keep the subscription and build loyalty. Most brands lean on adding 1 or 2 gifts. They are giving out 6 to 10 gifts in a year. Third, their communication. They lean heavily on celebrity and medical endorsement, and they have a lot, and less on medical science and habit formation. With NASA and David Beckham, who needs to know about the ingredients? Hi, I'm Rahi, and I'm a subscription retention expert. I've worked with 80 plus subscription brands to improve their retention. We take 90-day subscription to 70% using our subscription LTV maximizer framework. Let's dive. To give you a brief about IM8. IM8 is David Beckham all-in-one supplement with Prenetics, which is already in the supplement space. This product claims to have 90 plus ingredients marketed as a replacement for 16 plus supplements. They have done research with Mayo and NASA. In their quarterly report, they mentioned 188 annual revenue, and they currently have 80,000 paid subscribers. So what we did, we rated them on our subscription LTV scorecard. So it's a proprietary system where we look at 8 dimensions of subscription, all from public data. There is no access involved. We are not affiliated with IM8 at any capacity. We rank them on 6 checkpoints in those 8 dimensions, for total 48 dimensions, and then we score them on 80. So first metric which we look at is subscription structure and frequency. So on IM8, there are only 2 options, 90-day or 30-day, and they are nicely done. The discount is 80-20, so there is not much difference between them, but 10% is also substantial. They have marked it properly. They have mentioned per serving, per 2.97. Second, the cadence is also matching, which is very big issue in most of the brands. If you go for 30, it's 4 weeks. If you go for 90, it's 12 weeks. So there is not much mix and match you can do, which is a good thing because you don't want to give them multiple options with the supply and the consumption. Third one, which I would recommend, is one offer in the middle. Like what AG1 does is it also gives 2 options, but in the back end, you can ask to move it to 8 weeks or something for special cases. One more thing was the daily, how to use, how much I need. They have mentioned daily everywhere, so that's pretty much sorted. Then one time. One time is completely hidden over here. They don't want to sell one time subscriptions. That's where the 93% number is coming from, that the most of those customers are on subscriptions. So structure is clean, to hero product, 2 options, and the bundle, which is this. They don't have too many products in daily longevity, 2 options. The pricing is also the same, 20%, 30%. Some of the brands, the structure is very messy. On one product, they are giving more on 30, less on 3 months. And over here, if you go for subscription, it will be like 20%. If you go for 3 months, that will be 30%. There is no fluctuation. Same on bundle. Over there also 90 is 30 and this one is 20. So there is not much confusion. What's the discount? What's the pricing? Overall, our recommendation for the structure is always that you need to match the cadence. That's the number one thing. And then try to push 3 months offer, which tend to work well. So if your conversion rate still holds, like the only caveat is the conversion rate. If you go for 3 months, then conversion rate tend to little bit dicey. But apart from that, everything works. Next is offer engine, which is the biggest, which we talked about, like 10, 20, 30, which is very good. They have mentioned everywhere. Then second, their daily cost framing. They have been very much particular about that, how much it will cost a day, which is a good thing, especially for supplements or for any subscription, because it reduces the cost and bring the cost on the daily basis or per capsule or per serving. So that really helps. Then there is a bundle, which is a little bit cheaper, but not too much. In the bundle also, they are not giving too much. If you add this 261 versus their regular products, there is not much difference. That's the whole idea, that you don't want to over incentivize and you don't want to throw around 40-50 number or irrational numbers. You want to keep it clean, you want to keep it consistent, because this pricing goes in everywhere, in all the communication, email, messaging, ads. If you try to mix it up, it really creates a confusion in your messaging. They are heavily incentivizing subscription, which is a good thing also. And 30% they are increasing the count of gifts. And I saw on Trustpilot some reviews that when the customer went for the yearly, they were not getting those many gifts. If they go for monthly, they were getting more gifts. Now I think they have fixed it, but it was a case earlier. So our recommendation is put evergreen discount. Evergreen is your gap between one time to subscription and subscription to this, and the daily cost framing and only gifts. And if you are selling on Amazon or anywhere else, then you need to beat that price. Subscription should not look weaker or a bad deal compared to Amazon. Third is the flexibility. The main challenge which we saw, there was some mentions people were not able to swap or they were not able to change. That was the only concern. Apart from that, they have mentioned everywhere that you can cancel or pause anytime. Second, they don't talk too much about flexibility. On the website, on the page, there was not much mention of flexibility. It was in the top part, but they are not pushing that much. Flexibility is two-way street. Like you don't want to be too flexible so the LTV doesn't come. But at least in the start, you want to mention that there are flexibility options for you. Apart from that, one was the limit of flexibility, how many pause I can do. Like on Audible, I can do pause only for 3 months. Those kind of things were not visible. The limit and the possibilities of skip should be mentioned, and also there should be something in the self-serve portal. Next is the subscription promotions. Over here also there is nothing which they are not doing. They are very heavily subscription first brands. Everything is around subscription. This metric was mainly for the brands which were not very much subscription first. Everywhere, like on the banner, on the website, everywhere the subscription was very prominent. There was no other option. I was hard pressed to find the one-time purchase. The pre-select subscription is there. You need to shrink one time, and then the benefit of subscription. If you go for subscription compared to one time, which they did really nicely, they are giving out multiple benefits of why you want subscription. They are even mentioning the welcome kits. That's really important. Sometimes the brand has 2 lines that you need to go for subscription, but over here they are doing 5 things why you need to go on subscription with the welcome kit, the cost of the welcome kit, exclusive access. They are loading up their subscription program. Next is the loyalty and surprise. Over here it was one of the best we have seen. They are not running any loyalty program. They are trying to push 3 months subscription, and the gifting and milestone is their loyalty program. What they are doing is they are giving welcome kit, and then they are also showcasing what's the future gifts will be, and they are also showing 6 months window. That's not very common. Many brands don't show it on the product page, and what they are doing is really cutting edge, I would say, because not many brands are that much upfront. And what they have is also variety. It's not the same gift which is being repeated. They are really like on your face with the gifts. How much will you get? How much will it be? That really helps with the subscription, and then also it helps with the milestone proofing. Most of their gifts are on 3 months or 6 months. They are not mentioned the loyalty points, but this is the loyalty piece. AG1 is not good with that. AG1 doesn't give anything after 2 months or 3 months or 6 months, but IM8 is sequencing that piece, and that's really different and also important piece. Our recommendation is that gifting works better than the discount. So even if you play the loyalty point game, or you play the discount game, or you play the gifting game. So out of all three, gifting works best because it's not the same product. It's some kind of a tertiary product, some kind of a kit. It can also be your travel sachet, what they are doing. So those kind of products can also be promoted. New products can also be pushed, but it's better than the discount, and it's always better than the points, because points is confusing. You are not sure what kind of points will be there, how to redeem them. The tenure is important, because if you are doing welcome and you don't give anything on the 6 months or like 12 months, then you are taking loyalty for granted, or you are de-incentivizing your loyal customers. Then next is the retention copy. They are very good with the copy in the terms of timelines, the settings, the social proof. The whole page is littered with celebrity endorsement. Maximum they play on is medical endorsement or celebrity endorsement. Ingredient is very less talked about in their emails. More focus is on the celebrity piece. So they lead with the value, and they are not using cancel at any time or result timelines. And I think that's the conscious decision at their end. And because they have endorsement, but for most of the brands which might not have David Beckham or NASA as endorsement, so for them, the product and the ingredients and the science also comes into the picture. They are not going too much deep into the science. They are sticking more on the social proof side. For messaging, we also went through their emails. In their emails, they are very much talking about the social proof. They have also mentioned very heavily around AG1. Most of the messaging is either social proof or what kind of benefits you will see. They are talking less about the ingredients and more about the benefits and the endorsement. And They have these kind of emails where there's the medical board and all those things and what their ambassadors are saying. One more thing which we felt that was missing was long-term commitment. So long-term commitment was not on AG1 scale like that I have been using for years because it's 18 months old brand. So they don't have that kind of a leg room. Apart from that, have the messaging was on point. Also in the messaging was less talk about the subscription program because maybe they are subscription first brand. If the brand is running 50-60% of one time and then there is a 50-60 of subscription, then they need to highlight the benefit of subscription. In their copy, the benefit of subscription like you can pause, cancel and all those things were mostly missing. It might be highlighted somewhere in the lower part or somewhere. I think what they are doing is that they have taken the subscription out of the window. They are just not talking about that it's a subscription. They are saying that it's the only way to use. Over here in this small area, they have mentioned the subscription piece. Our focus is also like lead with the results, social proof, efficacy. Efficacy was really nicely done. So they have mentioned efficacy multiple times, the benefit and 85%, this numbers metrics. So those metrics are really important, the efficacy piece and daily ritual. Daily ritual also we thought that it's missing. They have daily in the name. So they get some kind of a benefit, rebuild your daily foundation. These kind of messaging was there, but not too much. What we would recommend is every email should have a daily and everywhere you mention the product, you need to mention even the testimonials that I have been using daily. So over here also a daily word is missing. You want to enforce that it's a daily product, you need to consume it daily and if you use daily, then only you see the benefits of the product. Over here the daily use is mentioned. Habit becomes really important in the subscription, especially with supplements. If they don't reinforce daily with every email, then it becomes a challenge in the long term. So next dimension is cancellation and dunning, how to cancel. Their Trustpilot was very good. There was no complaint about the cancellation. Some people mentioned ambiguous feedback, but there was not much concern. In most of the subscription, there might be complaints about cancellations, complaint about swapping. Mostly it's swap or this thing which we mentioned earlier, but not much around their product. In the policy, cancellation had two ways. You can email also. That was little bit tricky part. We looked at the Reddit also and this, there was nothing. And they are on Skio, so Skio also has a good sub cancellation program. That's not a concern. How to cancel was not too much visible. I was also trying. Cancel needs to be very much upfront. It should not be on the face, but idea is that if someone wants to cancel, they should not be jumping too many hoops. Last is the onboarding, subscription onboarding, where I also felt the same points around the expectation piece, that what the benefits you will see, those were missing. And also the ingredients, mainly the piece around the benefit of the products and the social proof around the benefits and how to use and the cadence within next 30 days, within next 40 days, within next 90 days, what the benefit you will see. So those kind of messaging, I didn't saw much. What they're doing right in the welcome is the benefit, the trusted, even the endorsement. So those things are positive in the welcome flow. They have mentioned 90 days, but yeah, it's a gradual process, like in a week, in a 14 days, in 21 days, in long term. So those kind of benefits needs to be there. It's not verified 100%. Idea is that because it's a long run play, with your subscription program, you want anchor everything around daily routine. Education more around the ingredients, more the benefits, more the social proof, that really helps with the welcome. And at least in first 30 days, what we recommend is 7 to 8 emails every 2-3 days and reminding them about the benefits and about the continued usage, and then you lower the frequency as you go along. Overall, it's a very strong performance. They have scored 64, very strong. The offer, the subscription structure, their loyalty, they are all world class. I have not seen much issues, and even if there is something, there's part of the strategy. I felt like little bit on the onboarding and little bit on the flexibility piece. They have hidden the subscription as a layer. They are mostly mentioning about the benefit of product because there is no conflict between one time versus subscriptions, and a little bit about the ingredients. These were the two things mainly which I felt that were missing from the communication. So 3 patterns stood out. First, offer engineering. The subscription and offers are packaged more tightly than most brands, driving very high OV. Second, their gifting. They are very heavily on the gifts and monthly gifts that hold the subscription and build the loyalty. Third, communication, heavy on celebrity and medical endorsements and lighter on the medical science and habit formation. In terms of benchmark, this is from their quarterly report. They are saying 81% NRR, net recurring revenue, which is really very high because it means that 1% of revenue is coming from second order onwards based on the retention. Their LTV stand at 500, which is also really high for a supplement brand. For a brand barely 18 months old, that's rare. Tight offer engineering, gifting, and their communication is performing really well. They don't just have Beckham, Mayo, and NASA, they also have a world-class retention team. Most brands with this much celebrity power skips the retention playbook and they try to ride totally on the acquisition wave and hope it holds. IM8 knows the subscription game. Without retention, there is no subscription. Want your subscription scored for free? The links in the description and subscribe. The next Teardowns is coming soon. Thank you.